Hello, Alex.
Hello, Sean.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. It sounds like week 3 of lockdown has hit you.
Oh, good. That I'm glad that it's so readable on the tonality of my voice. I am fine.
Yeah, well, we're all there. But I mean, good news. There's a new president.
That is really good news. Yeah, today is a good day. Despite everything else going on in our own country, today is a good day. So
Yeah. Hopefully that will inspire us to start moving in the right direction. Hopefully.
yeah.
Just finished watching it. It was a good speech.
Yeah, very good speech. Yeah. Very impressed. Right.
Yeah, enjoyed a bit of J-Lo.
Who knows? Good days coming. I enjoy a bit of Gaga. That was great. From MAGA to Gaga. That was great.
That was, huge. Awesome. So another week, another round of news. We've got loads of great stuff. A few more kind of couple real innovative ones, I think, which I think will be interesting to quite a lot of people. Some really open ones as well. In interesting areas. But as always, you can, if you're watching, you can grab all of the links in the description of the video already, and they're all on our website, so you can start clicking through those now if you would like to kind of read them as we go, or just have a look and start applying for bits and pieces. And if you sign up for the newsletter on our website, you can get all the news sent straight to your inbox immediately. So get cracking if you've not signed up, and we'll send you all the best stuff we find each week.
Let's do it. Let's get out of this lockdown 3 funk with a bit of innovative residencies applying.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll move straight in then. Take us away, Alex.
Well, the first one is a residency. It's a dance residency with The Place in central London. And every year they do what they call the Choreo Drone. So Choreo Drone 2021 is coming up, and it's going to be across sort of late summer. And what they are doing, they are looking for, I think there's 16 places available on a research residency they're doing. They've got a load of questions that they want to sort of ask and throw open, and they're looking for anyone who's looking to sort of interrogate these questions as well in any sort of choreographic or movement work that they're looking to create. Those questions are: how can dance help us respond to the big questions facing society currently? How can both live and online dance experiences create new connections between audiences and participants? How are fruitful relationships? Have I written this right? How are fruitful relationships, already fruitful relationships between audiences, artists, and organizations maintained, deepened, and expanded? And what can new models of sustainability and ethical stewardship of resource look like in the cultural sector? So some really big questions that they're actually asking with this one, and they're looking for basically anyone who sort of is a movement practitioner or a dance practitioner with sort of choreography at the core of their work, who might also be looking to interrogate these questions with their work as well. So they're inviting artists to apply. It's an open call for the Choreo Drone research residencies. And these residencies are going to take place between Monday, the 19th of July and Sunday, the 19th of September. It won't be for the whole thing. Basically, you'll get what they are offering are 1 to 2 weeks of studio space at the Place in London, as well as £1,200 to help people develop their work as well. However, they do state in one of the first sentences on this page that they want to create like a no pressure environment to deliver a finished product. So it's mostly sort of like an R&D residency as well.
Yep.
It is open to all artists of any discipline with choreography and movement at its core. However, you do have to be in the UK. They do have a couple of stipulations about who can and cannot apply, including they're not looking for undergrads. You need to be a postgrad or a practitioner in your own work form. They do also say if you're a hip hop artist, they also have a separate dedicated separate residency for that as well, called Artists for Artists. If you scroll down on this page, Sean, for anyone watching the stream, there is also a link to go through in big bold. If you click there, it says click here, and that will take you through to a different page that has more information, and there is stacks of information on both the research residency and the hip-hop based Artists for Artists residency to really add additional support for people looking to make more sort of hip hop work in the theatre space. So full details of that can be found on these pages alongside all of the details for the research residency on the website. There's only 2 places for the hip hop one for artists, but there are 16 places, I believe, for the research residency. And yeah, you get 2 weeks of studio space, you get £1,200, and that is taking place between 19th of July and 19th of September. All the details are on the website, and the deadline for that application is midnight on Monday, the 25th. So this Monday coming up. If you are a dance practitioner looking to really analyze the big questions in dance performance.
Great. There's loads of stuff. I mean, a lot of the things that I think we're looking at today are kind of throwing out this kind of big question, global response stuff in terms of artist response, which is great to see. I was also, I had another thought, but it's trailed off. So move on. Let's keep going. Let's keep the trainer going. So the next one is, this is the Disrupt Festival at, it's kind of being presented by Guildhall School, which looks like a really, really, really interesting one. So it's a festival that they'll be holding in July, kind of a digital arts festival that they're looking at holding. And you can apply to kind of get funding for various projects. You can kind of be, and you can be from a lot of different backgrounds. So you don't have to necessarily be an artist. You can be from a kind of community organization, or you can be a researcher or a creative in any kind of form, really, to kind of propose work for this festival. The whole thing is kind of looking at how we explore kind of performing arts and how arts organizations can collaborate through the pandemic and how they have supported each other through the pandemic. So the whole thing, there's 3 strands of stuff that you can apply for, but every application has to be co-written between a community partner and a creative partner. So you have to be in collaboration kind of as part of the project. You don't already have to be linked up, but you and if you don't have like a partner, so if you've got if you're an artist and have an idea to work with a community in a certain way, you can email them and say, I've got this idea, is there anyone else looking to be partnered up, and vice versa. If you're a community organization looking to do an artistic project, you can apply for this as well, and ask for them if they've got any artists that they can link you to. So there's 3 strands. There's the community commission strand, and for this pot you can apply, and this is like performance based. So if you're looking to present a performance of some kind that stems from the idea of what community is looking for, community support, and it's in response to the pandemic, you can apply for up to £5,000 of a grant for that. With all of these things as well, it can be the full funding, or it can be match funding or part funding. So you can bring it in a kind of whatever stage you like in your kind of funding. So then these next 2 are kind of, they're both £1,000 that you can apply for, but they're both, I'm trying to work my head around the difference between the 2. So hopefully this is clear. So there's a tools and tactics strand. So the idea of this is that you're sharing collaborative skills that you've grown over this period, and you're going to find a way to kind of share that knowledge that you've generated. So say you've been doing a community project and you've discovered new ways of programming by bringing in community input, or you've found a particular way of doing workshops with a particular community that has any kind of difficulty or something like that, that you found a way of working remotely in a creative way that allows people to access it in a way they hadn't done before. You could have done all these sorts of things, and they're looking for you to present that work. So that could take the form of a panel discussion or a workshop or a film, or it could be a piece of writing or an interview. It's up to you how you want to kind of showcase that output, but they're looking for you to kind of share tools and tactics. And the last one is alternative futures. So from what I understand about this, it's about creating spaces to ask the questions about how we would like to see community engagement improve. So where tools and tactics is about presenting ideas and skills that you've developed, the alternative future is about presenting how can we improve other things and making a space for people to come and do that. And again, you can kind of propose that however you want. That could be a piece of writing or a workshop or a panel or an interview, all that kind of stuff. But as long as it's kind of provoking discussion around the question that you want to explore. And again, that's £1,000. So The deadline for that is the 30th of January. So like 10 more days to do that at noon. There's an online form to fill out. And they've also got like a Word document that you can download so you can do a draft version of it before you upload it. And it's all about community engagement. So if you work in community engagement in some way, if you're an organization that's looking to find a community partner to make an application for something and make a performance, or to present some knowledge that you've gained, or you are just an arts entity or a community entity, you can find a contact through them, and you just drop them an email and you can find all the information on their site for who to get in contact with if you're looking for a partner for that project. So big, lots of different strands available there. Tool, and that will be kind of presented kind of digitally, I think, or in lots of different ways in July, 8th and 9th of July.
I see what you mean about a sort of a broad spectrum of things that they're trying to tackle there.
Yeah, it's all kind of community, society stuff, and it emphasizes collaboration in a big way. Like collaboration between communities and arts organizations is kind of the most important thing about it, really.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds worthwhile. It sounds like a good little venture to get into.
Yes, it is.
Moving on, we have a relentlessly helpful friend of the show, personal friend of ours, Sam Dunstan, who, if you don't know, you should probably follow up on Twitter, because he is a font of knowledge on just various things going on in the theatre world. And he, I believe, he's doing something called Jizara Training. I believe Jizara is a company that I think he set up with his parents.
Yes, Jizara is his company. Yeah, and he's doing this in partnership with Cast.
Yeah, with Cast Theatre in Doncaster. So his parents are in accountancy, and Sam is trained in theatre at the same place we were at Rose Bruford. And so what he's done is he's set up this new company specifically to tackle all of the nitty-gritty that comes with the backstage of setting up a theatre company. And now he's doing very successful and really informative workshops on everything you need to know about all the administrative and the financial sides about running a theatre company and building a theatre company. So he's got his first set of 3 workshops going public now as part of Jizara and with Cast. So they are Jizara Training with Sam Dunstan. He's got 3 sessions. He's got Getting to Know Yourself, which is all about being able to sort of confidently talk about yourself and present your work and who you are as a solo artist, as a company. He'll go through how to write personal artistic statements, how to explore different methods of self-analysis, and basically how to really nail promoting yourself to either venues or funding bodies or establishments. Session 2, he talks about Company of One, and that covers balancing all the different disciplines that really come with running a business and the many different hats that one has to wear, whether it's the performance hat, the sales, the administration, the marketing, anything that falls under sort of producer, director, performer roles. This is perfect for me, because God knows I'm terrible at juggling all of these in my own sort of solo endeavors. One of them always falls by the wayside, but he covered that because he covers balancing your time and your time management. He covers the different ways to register a company in the UK, the pros and cons of each one, and also how to remain creative whilst also maybe doing some work that's just there to pay the bills, and how to keep up that time balance schedule as well. And his final session is called Money, 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 and that will cover everything you need to know about tax returns, about self-assessment, the finances and the funding applications if you're going for funding, how to fill in your tax return, what you need to declare as your own company, tips and techniques for developing a company budget, and how to make that budget more attractive to funding bodies. So it's a really great set of 3 workshops if you're completely there on the creative side of building a theatre company, but you just need that extra bit of help on like looking at Excel spreadsheets and going, how the hell do I actually run this as a business? So these seminars are on Tuesdays, 3 different Tuesdays, starting on next Tuesday, the 26th, and then the 2nd and the 9th, respectively. Each one will be 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and you can book via the cast website, which we'll put in the link dump. One workshop is £6.50, or you can book all 3 of them for £15, and it's well worth it. He is incredibly knowledgeable and incredibly helpful on this sort of subject. So if you need any assistance with that side of actually creating and touring theatre, do have a look in.
That is crazy cheap for accessing the mind of Sam Dunstan. That's crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely recommend that. There's a lot. I mean, we talked last week about Christina Poulton and her workshop she was doing there, and like there seems to be a big, I mean, it's really exciting that there is a move towards kind of really understanding the business side of the arts in this way, because I think it's one of those things that everyone was kind of, before the pandemic, was kind of, we were aware that we needed to get better at it, but kind of putting it slightly on the back burner. And now it's like, okay, we really need to sort out our kind of financial game in order to make this something that's viable. So really exciting to see. Just keep it going. So it's so exciting to see Sam Dunstan stepping into this world, and he is honestly brilliant. So definitely go and check those out if you need a little bit of assistance. All right, moving on. So this is a quick little casting call. This is with Undone Theatre, and it's for a production they've got called Selected Recordings of Us. So they're looking for 2 queer identifying actors between the ages of 18 and 30. I don't think they specify gender anywhere, just queer identifying. And it's a paid opportunity. It's in line with ITC rates. They are keen that the 2 writers are queer identifying writers. The story is about kind of storytelling, authenticity, and about queer identity. So they're keen for that to be reflected in the actors themselves. You should be available between the 6th of May and the 29th of May, and that includes a few development days, 2 weeks of rehearsal, and a week's run. Doesn't specify where the run is happening, but I'm sure they'll announce that and let you know. To apply, the audition deadline is the 31st of January 2021. And to apply, you need to send in a self-tape. If you go to the website and look at their full brief, they have a list of monologues in there, which you need to play with a self-tape for, and then send that in to them. If you need more information, or if you would like the information back in any other kind of form, you can email them at Undone Theatre as well to get more information on that. But if you are queer identifying and an actor, or you know anyone that is queer identifying as an actor, please definitely send them towards Undone Theatre for this casting call. I had a look through some of the monologues. The monologues are really simple. They're like really short, rather, not necessarily simple, but they're quite short. So they clearly want to just kind of get a flavour of the kind of work that you do. So hopefully it's something you shouldn't be toiling over. You should just be able to kind of get a self-tape in and send it off. I know a lot of people put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into their self-tapes, and hopefully they've kind of done this and presented some monologues in such a way that it's kind of making that as stress-free as possible. So I thought they were really lovely monologues, actually, from the Undone have thrown up there. There are lots of stuff to kind of play with, but short and sweet. So recommend, if you know anyone, definitely recommend it. Or if it's you, throw in a self-tape.
Yeah, nice and simple. Where is Undone? Is that London?
I think they are London, yes. Although I can check that in a minute. They've not, I don't think it was specified anywhere. I don't think they're looking for anyone from any particular area. Sure. And it's all kind of linked to ICT rates. So hopefully there should be enough to cover all bits and pieces. I will double check that though in a second while we have another look, while we have a look at the next bit. Yeah,
because we've got another one. We got Oak Circus Centre in Norwich are doing a residency as well to celebrate their 5th anniversary. I think they've got a little campaign going. I think it's High Five Oak Circus, and they're also doing this residency. They're going to be supporting 2 artists' places in collaboration with Lost in Translation Circus as well. And so what they're offering is 2 spaces of either 1 week or up to 10 days of creation time, and time to create either a circus, dance, or theatre piece in the UK to develop the company. Sorry, if you identify as a circus company, dance company, or theatre company in the UK, to develop a new circus or combined art show. So the residency is completely free. With Oak Circus, they will be subsidising the space and offering any sort of technical and administrative support that they can, whilst Lost in Translation will also be on hand to help with any sort of rigging design or mentoring that you might need if you want to go for more sort of elaborate builds. However, they cannot offer any reimbursement or payment at this time. So just getting the space for free and a bit of mentoring, a bit of help on the way. They're looking for residencies to take place in May, June time, depending on sort of COVID restrictions. And this will be happening at their site in Norwich. So you must be able to get to Norwich at that point, or East Anglia-based companies. This is particularly good for you. And they haven't specified too many details online so far. This is just sort of like something that cropped up on my Facebook feed. I couldn't find a website either, but best way to get in touch, ask for more application details, is by sending them an email. You can either go to info@theoakcircuscentre.org or head to the Facebook page that we've got on the screen right now, and you can private message them on Facebook, and they'll get back to you from there with more details on how you can get in touch with them and become part of their 5th anniversary residency.
Awesome. Great. I had a look at Undone as well. Yes, they are London-based.
Cool. Lovely.
Amazing. Love a bit of circus residency. One of those things I wish I'd done. Do you know what I mean?
I think you'd been really good at circus.
I think I'd have been all right.
Circus in my time.
Yeah, it would have been good. I've got friends who do that, like the one with the like the coin thing, the big hoop, where people just roll around in it.
I've done that. There's the aerial hoop.
Not the aerial hoop. The one that's on the floor, like the big coin one.
Oh, yeah. I know a couple of people that do that. That is
a mad,
impressive trick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I don't think that's what their residency's for, but I'm just saying that'd be great.
So they could throw that in.
All right. Next up, we have the Brilliant 2021 as part of the Lumiere Festival. So this has been running for a while. The Lumiere Festival happens every year in Durham. I think they've been doing it at least 6 years, probably longer than that. And it's with a company called Artichoke. And it's a light festival. It's a big light festival that happens in Durham. It happens in November. It's kind of taking place this year between the 18th and 21st of November. And the festival kind of takes place across the entirety of Durham. They throw up lighting installations all over the city that you can go around and look at. As part of that, they have this thing called Brilliant 2021 this year. And it's an opportunity for artists, or anyone actually. It's open to literally anyone. You don't have to be an artist necessarily in the arts. Cool. It's open to absolutely everyone. You don't need to be a lighting specialist of any kind. They'll kind of give you a lot of support. But if you've got an idea for something that would look great in lighting, using lighting as the main component to be situated in Durham, you can apply for this commission. It's as long as you're over 18. You don't have to be from Durham. This is the really important thing about this year. So previous years, you've had to be from Durham or at least the Northeast, whereas now it's open to absolutely everyone all over the country. They are still kind of keen to hear from people from the Northeast, especially those kind of local to Durham. They're also particularly keen to hear from Black, people of colour, deaf or hard of hearing, and disabled, as they're underrepresented in the current alumni of the Brilliant scheme. So they're particularly keen to hear from people from those backgrounds or those identities. So as part of it, if you get it, you win £1,000 as a fee, and then you get £7,000 towards materials for the installation that you want to build or create or be part of. So it might not necessarily be that you're going to be building it with your bare hands. You might use that £7,000 fee to help fabricate it and get the materials from other places and those bits and pieces. That also doesn't need to include stuff like the logistical costs. There's some installation costs, but you don't need to worry about the kind of management fees. You don't need to worry about paying for security because that's handled by the festival. So if you get it, you'll also be supported by the festival in setting up the light, and you'll receive some mentoring. They talk about as well, you don't need to specify where you want it in Durham to go. You can do, but avoid kind of major landmarks. Go for anything at the castle or the cathedral or like the central marketplace, because they're already booking professional lighting artists for those venues and kind of the bigger landmarks. So this is an opportunity for kind of someone new to the scene to make something completely fresh from a different perspective. So they want you to think, if you want to propose a place, think kind of intimate spaces where the light work can just kind of appear as part of everyday Durham, basically. If you want to pitch someone specifically, they've got some ideas that some inspirations on their site that you can look at in terms of like taking inspiration from the history of the town. The main thing is that the lighting has to kind of really showcase something that you're really passionate about. So you need to be able to kind of showcase your love or your interest in a particular topic. One of the ones that I looked at before that was kind of showcased was these bicycles, these kind of neon bicycles that are along the other side of a park that look really great. That was just kind of about advocating for more cycling. That was really lovely. It's quite a big application. It's not necessarily a big application process in terms of your first bit. You need to throw in a proposal form, and there's an application form for that online, and then there's like a second and third stage, and all of that is kind of detailed on the site in the full brief. And they give you between kind of stages 1 and 2, if they like your initial proposal, they'll give you like another 4 weeks to prep like a full proposal to come at them with a kind of bigger idea. And I think that you can kind of get a little bit of support from them as well in that process as well, just kind of help shape it a little bit. So really great little opportunity. It's open to absolutely everyone. If you just have an idea for something you'd like to throw up in light and throw it up in a city, then this is kind of like a big lighting competition to get involved with.
Yeah, nice. That's great.
Awesome. Right.
Awesome. Next up, we've got Orange Tree Theatre are looking for people to join their writers collective. So this year they are looking for 3 writers and 1 dramaturg to join the writers collective and explore their craft together. Over the course of the majority of the year, really, writers will be given the opportunity to develop an idea for a new play that they might have and are currently working on, and they'll get that with the support of the Orange Tree creative team, whilst the dramaturg will have the opportunity to sort of support these artists working on their ideas, but also be able to sort of shadow other works that are being developed by Orange Tree Theatre where it's available, and really get to the grips on the work of a dramaturg and dramaturgy. Artists will also receive masterclasses delivered by pioneering practitioners in their field as well throughout the course of the year. So it's basically aimed at writers who have already written. They specify that you have to have already written at least 1 play that's been heard by an audience, but they're really open with what the context of that could be. That could also include just like a public rehearsed reading, or even if it's a produced as a fringe production and it's been put on before an audience. So it's not necessarily an introduction to playwriting program or course. It's more you have started to establish yourself as a playwright, and now it's ready for those people. I mean, I think I'm in this sort of situation where it's just like, what's the next step of really taking off into this industry? You've written a couple of things, you put it on. How do you then go into becoming a sort of a professional playwright? So they're looking to hear from anyone who sort of fits that bill. And in terms of dramaturgs, they're looking to hear from aspiring dramaturgs, or sort of people looking to grow their skills in developing new theatre and helping to develop new theatre. Applications for the dramaturg role should be able to demonstrate sort of an interest in supporting artists, but you don't necessarily need any prior experience in dramaturgy per se. Rather, Orange Tree is sort of thinking of dramaturgy as the craft of supporting artists to make their work safely and authentically. And they give a couple of examples of, like, even if it's just sort of like running, helping to facilitate rehearsals or performances, even if it's just like above a pub or something that really demonstrates that you are keen and committed to bringing new theatre to a stage in some sort of capacity. They want to hear from you. So all successful applicants will receive a £1,000 bursary as well to support their work. But it's going to take place from March to December, they say, this sort of little collective. And it's going to be mostly 1 night a week. It's going to be Monday evenings, held via Zoom until they have a COVID-safe sort of alternative in the future, which they haven't specified at all. But primarily, you can expect it to be sort of accessing support via Monday Zoom meetings with the Orange Tree, and other stuff like any further opportunities or masterclasses will be arranged in due time, depending on everyone's availability. The application of this one are also pretty extensive. They're sort of threefold. You need to complete a respective application form for the role you're going for, an equal opportunities form, and then a CV as well. But also for the writers, you do also need to submit a 10-page extract of your work, preferably the work that you are looking to develop and create as well. So just be prepared for that. All the forms and the information can be found on the Orange Tree Theatre's website. And and the deadline is It's this Friday by memory. It is Friday the 22nd. So this is just a quick one if you're sort of already at the position where you are ready to jump in and just send off a 10-page excerpt. But they're a great little theatre to get the support of if you are looking to delve into your writing a bit more. They put on some really good stuff.
Orange Tree have done some amazing work. They support like the JMK Award with directors as well quite a lot. So they're really good in supporting emerging artists in lots of different ways, and like emerging artists on the verge of kind of breaking the next ceiling, really. Launching into the next phase of their career. They're a really great springboard for that, and they kind of keep working with them as well. So definitely worth getting involved with the Orange Tree Theatre. And I'm glad to see there's kind of gradually, like generally speaking, more opportunities appearing for dramaturgs.
It's I found that really not unique, but it's rare, isn't it? You don't see many sort of postings or positions for dramaturgs these days.
I think they're so useful when you have them in the space. Just having someone looking at the whole project from a slightly different perspective of things is really helpful. So I'm glad to see that's kind of being brought in more, and hopefully we'll kind of there was a position going at Brixton House, the new what's the new Oval House, I guess. They rebranded for a position as a dramaturg there. I think it was a senior producer and dramaturg, which was like a big title. But it's great that hopefully more theatres follow along with that.
Definitely. Let's get some more opportunities for the dramaturgs out there.
Big time. All right, next couple. So this is Magic Me. This is the company Magic Me. Recruiting artists for what they're calling Inside Out 2021. So Magic Me have been running for quite a long time now. And they're kind of big advocates for kind of arts in the community, and working directly with community groups to try and improve services or care. In this particular instance, this is about working with care homes. So they're looking for 3 artists to take part in this project, which will take place in care homes in Waltham Forest in the east of London. Thank you to Sam, by the way, who posted some love. That was great. So they're looking for 3 artists, and you don't need to apply with a particular project. What you're applying with is kind of presenting yourself as an artist. You need to be someone who has some experience in care homes, whether professionally or kind of in your personal life. You need to be an active kind of collaborator. You need to have collaborated with people in the past, and any experience you have with collaborating with communities is really desirable. But you're presenting yourself as someone who's looking to collaborate and work specifically with a care home and the care professionals that are at that site. So the idea is then, once they kind of choose their 3 artists, you will be paired up with a particular home and some professionals, and you'll then work together to target and find a question that you want to explore in order to improve the care or improve the service of what's delivered inside the care home. So what that question might be is completely dependent on what kind of interests you and what interests is really going to help that centre, so that you work collaboratively on it. And the idea is that you then create creative resources or creative activities or whatever it may be to try and help that project along. It's purely experimental to just explore that question. So it might be that you try different things and that your findings out are really tiny little small bits of knowledge. But the idea is that kind of once you present them in like a big not necessarily performance, but you I don't think it'll be a performance at all, but you share your knowledge that you've gained with other care professionals, partner organizations, other creatives, kind of other influential figures inside the arts and care industry, care sector. The types of questions they're looking to explore, it doesn't even need to necessarily kind of target the patients themselves. They're particularly interested in kind of anything that's helping the COVID response to stuff. So it might be, how might you give a better quality of life, or present activities to people who are completely bedbound? Like, how can you engage within the community inside the care home in a more effective way? Or it might even be about to do with the staff. So there was one example question that was like, how can we create services or creative opportunities that allows that support staff who are experiencing grief? Which really, because obviously what's happening in care homes and has been happening in care homes has been pretty dire. So finding ways to support the staff as well might be something that you explore. But you come up with that completely in collaboration with the care home that you're with in that area. So in the first instance, you're presenting yourself as an artist. It's between March and July, but it's not full time. So you, within that space, you work for 20 days, and how those 20 days are allocated is done again in collaboration with the partner organization. It's £245 a day, which is a pretty good going day rate. And you also get paid you get £1,500 to go towards the material cost of whatever it is that you end up creating. So if it's remote stuff and you need to pay for the Zooms or whatever it may be, or you're making items or props or things to use in some way, you receive some bursary money towards that in order to create those things. So in order to apply, you need to answer the questions kind of listed in the brief. There's a few questions that you need to answer, so go have a look at that on the website. And then you could submit via writing or video message. Either one is fine. And the deadline for that is 10 a.m. on the 8th of February. So you've got a little bit of time before the deadline on that one. And it's for artists who are really kind of looking to engage in the community sphere and tackle really difficult questions and experiment with those care homes, working with those care homes to generate ideas that are going to be beneficial for the people in that care home, but hopefully the wider community as well, and care homes at large. So really great little project there.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I really enjoy how a lot of these we got this week are actually they are open-ended experimentations as well. No one's really looking for like a definitive answer. We've got to that stage where there's a lot of things that we just need to try now. We just need to throw things at the wall. It might work, it might not, but we won't know until we sort of run these sort of experiments and see if we can make things better a bit differently.
Yeah, I think there is a general kind of move away from outcome, I guess, and more towards process and the discoveries that happen during that process. I mean, when I'm making a show and even just rehearsing, like all the exciting stuff happens in the rehearsal process for me in a lot of ways when I'm working on a show, and the discoveries that kind of come out of that. So moving towards this kind of process-based approach to kind of exploring stuff is really exciting. So hopefully there's more of that. And then our last one. So this is Cedar or CDA. I'm not sure what's the best way of saying the acronym. This is with Cedar Arts, so the Community Equality Disability Action Group. And this is a micro commission, so it's really, really small. So it's a £500 micro commission, and it's specifically for artists who are deaf, hard of hearing, or disabled. It might be that you're applying as an individual artist from that background, or it might be that you're part of a company. If you're applying as a company, at least one member of your company needs to be deaf, hard of hearing, or a disabled artist. They're hoping kind of the submission process, I think, at large is going to be an opportunity for them to kind of widen their network as well. So they're definitely looking for people to engage in future projects as well, not just with this. So definitely, it's definitely worth applying for, even just to meet the people at Cedar Arts. I think it's definitely worth applying for. But what they're looking for, £500. So obviously looking for kind of short kind of easy to kind of throw out material, but they're looking for people to propose work that could be shared online, that is kind of bring it kind of challenging audiences, and it kind of, they want proposals that surround a specific theme. So I'll read the theme like as they say on the site. So it's reimagining the normal. How would you like the post-pandemic world to be? Is this an opportunity to challenge what normal is? What are your thoughts about this time, and how can you use your ideas to imagine a better future? So that's the theme. They want pieces of work that are pitched towards that. You might already have something. You might be able to propose a small piece of work that answers that theme. And then they're looking to kind of present that as well in some way. So really simple little micro commission. You can apply for that via writing or video, and the deadline for that is the 5th of February. You can also, on top of that as well, so you get £500 commission, but if you need additional access costs or you need an additional kind of materials budget, you can also apply for that as well. Obviously, it's a £500 micro commission. I don't imagine the budget they're going to give you for materials and things is going to kind of be vastly greater than that. But if it's something that you need a bit of support with in bringing something together in order to make it work, you can apply for that as well. So you're not locked into £500 and that's it. You can apply for a little bit of extra funding as well. I think they really are using it as an opportunity to meet more creatives from these backgrounds, so they can really engage them in projects. So if you've got even if you've got an inkling of an idea, it's definitely worth throwing it in, just so that they can get that you can introduce yourself to the company as well, because it sounds like they're going to be doing lots more projects into the future. But that is that. Oh, they can also, if you need the information pack as well, if you email them, they can send you a video of it so that you can hear it, or they'll do it in BSL for you. So if you need that as well, you can email them and they'll send that over to you as well. But otherwise, that is that.
Great, amazing.
And that's it for the week.
Lovely.
That's all of the news for the week. So great. I mean, loads of social enterprise ones going on this week. Great little funding pots going on here and there. Casting calls, residencies, big spectrum of stuff happening in the theatre world right now. As always, it's also worth checking all the kind of other stuff. This is all the stuff that we thought will be really useful to our audiences and our network. But definitely look at people like Linda Bloomfield, as always, and her Opportunity Tuesday. She's got a few more things on there. Particularly, Linda's announced this, shown a lot this week towards writers who are kind of writing novels and that kind of stuff. There's a few of those.
Yeah, I did see that.
And definitely check out Arts Admin as well. There's a few bits and pieces on there, kind of more workshops and seminars that are particularly interesting that are going around at the moment. So definitely check out those as well. But otherwise, you can find all the links, as always, in the description, and sign up for the newsletter so we can send all this stuff straight to your inbox. You get the kind of the video of the episode, but you also just get direct links to all of the stuff that we talk about in this episode as well. So definitely sign up for that. But otherwise, that's it. Thank you very much, Alex.
No worries. Thanks for having me, as always. It's always a pleasure.
Not at all. We'll be back again, as always, next week, 5:30, with some more Fable Network news.
Be safe, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye.